G'day everybody, Pitman360. I'm currently in a studio in Mexico City, but I've got a good friend here who's helping me out. My agent obviously isn't here with me, but he's put me in touch with Ronaldo, who's just off camera here, who's going to prompt me on some suggestions on how to get better traction with my YouTube videos. Now, I've seen a little bit of growth recently, so that's fucking awesome, but I think I want to step it up a level, if you like. Try to tackle some of the more confusing aspects of blockchain technology, and one of them at the top of my list that's been there for a while is blockchain. Like when people fucking say, yeah, it uses a blockchain, or add a blockchain. Well, what the fuck do they mean? Well, really what they're trying to say is, A, they want to add a fucking permission blockchain, a private one run by a company that's not immutable. Or B, they want to actually create an open blockchain or hook into an already established infrastructure like Ethereum, Bitcoin itself. So one of the defining factors for you entering this blockchain world and all the services that will be provided in the near future, one of those decisions you're going to have to make is like, do I want to support the company that's using blockchain to make its business more efficient? And do I benefit? Or do I want to hook into more of the ideological side of things where everything's open, transparent, immutable, if you like? So this is a real dividing factor in the community. Not so much when it comes to cryptocurrency traders, because those fuckers, they're just interested in creating a return on their investment. So they're not really essentially bought in necessarily to the ideology of an immutable blockchain that's fully auditable. It doesn't really matter to them. What they're looking for is a return on their investment. And typically, an organisation like a corporation that runs its own private blockchain, it's finding it easier to attract capital, okay? Open source projects are renowned for being a little bit messy, disorganised, decentralised, if you like. And that's there are values that come with that, especially if you're living in such countries where the financial system is untrustworthy, or the government or what have you. To replace those inefficiencies on a state level, open, immutable blockchains can seem rather attractive. In the West, where we're all developed as fuck, then we tend to not really give too much of a fuck about that until our government turns around and screws us. So down here in South America, there's a lot of applications for both private and public blockchains, but for you guys out there who are just sort of starting to enter the space, you don't necessarily need to make a decision on which side you're on, but you need to be conscious and always be looking for that, okay, when I transfer my assets or I buy some of these tokens, what am I fucking actually getting myself involved in? At the end of the day, it's all about distributed trust. And if the trust ain't distributed across a decentralized network like it is in Bitcoin, like it is in Ethereum, then you have to make a decision based on the corporation or the startup or the organization, what the fuck they're up to. So you'll need to do your due diligence of whether or not you believe in trusting those guys with your hard-earned panga. And what else have I missed? I might have missed something else there.
You still use a lot of shitty
I'm not very good at this education stuff. It's a little bit complex, but I want to speak to the regular folk, so I need to somehow make this understandable. So you can think of a blockchain as either permissioned or permissionless. That is, you have to pay or ask a centralized entity for permission to utilize this infrastructure, the blockchain, or you don't, and you can just fucking go dive in, like a lot of the open source projects that are out there. Now that's a lot more exciting if you have the intellect to program and develop, or you have the partnerships capable. But those of you that don't probably just want to buy a plug and play service. Now there is on the horizon, and to some extent already out there, there's some organizations that are using permissioned blockchains as an on-ramp into the ecosystem, okay? And then those are like running like side chains, if you like, that can plug into open source blockchains like Ethereum or blockchain. And we saw that with a lot of the ICO projects back in 2017. They would create a token and promise to create their own blockchain in the future. Typically the token was issued on Ethereum, okay? And they went ahead and they built their own blockchains, and they try to gobble up a bunch of community and say, all right, welcome guys, now you're on our blockchain, get involved, here's how you can fucking make some panga. And oh, by the way, yeah, no, we're still going to connect to the open blockchain, honestly. We're just waiting for them to figure out the scaling issues. Yeah, that's the excuse they were often using, wasn't it? Right.
Criminal.
You don't need to make your decision yet. You just need to know, okay, where am I putting my trust in this relationship? Am I going to hold on to my keys, or am I going to trust a third party with my keys? To trust a third party is old hat. It's the same fucking financial services, only a little bit more efficient on the business end, and again, usability is what will attract most of you guys out there. It's how you experience the app, or the DApp. Those out there that are calling themselves DApps are very often on permissioned chains, run on centralized servers at least, so they can be taken down. They are mutable, not immutable. So that's the defining factor. I hope you've learned something from this video, because, you know, most crypto influencers are supposed to fucking educate you cunts out there, and there's a little bit more to it, like in terms of decision making, than just sort of putting your hard-earned panga and betting on different horses, hoping that you'll get an ROI of significance. Do me a favour and try to watch all my videos from beginning to end, so I can up the watch time on my YouTube analytics, because apparently the algorithm, when it sees watch time increasing, it shows the videos to more people or some shit. Was that right?
Mate, I fuck you guy now.
Yeah.